Aloha and good afternoon, guys. Dr. Robert Cassar, eartheracademy.com. Okay, this video course I've been wanting to do for a while because remember, all disease starts in the mouth. So the title of this video is Medicinal and Healing Homemade Toothpaste and Mouthwash. It's a do-it-yourself guide because most of the mouthwash, almost all of them, and most of all the toothpaste, even the good ones, okay, are not really good for many different reasons to use. Not only a lot of them are toxic chemicals, okay, antibiotics, saccharin, alcohols, okay, all different types of weird chemicals. Read the label. Glycerin, okay, these are things that are not good to put in your toothpaste because there's lots of studies that say that these things aren't good. And you may be using a toothpaste that's very abrasive and you're wearing out your enamel and your gums. Maybe even you're using hydrogen peroxide, which you better be very careful using that because you can wear off your gums by doing that, by using too strong of a hydrogen peroxide, food grade. So, oh, we got Hody in the house. You want a pistachio, Hody? You want one? Oh, there we go. Yeah, again, if you're new to the channel, Hody's been in the family since I was like 15 years old. So I'm 64 biological age, so he's been with me a long time. Okay, so toothpaste. Why would you want to make your own? Is because, like I said, most of the toothpaste, there's something wrong with them using them from, again, I wrote about 50 pages of information for you to be able to learn about not only toothpaste and mouthwash on how to make your own, and we're going to show you a couple of different recipes for YouTube, simple recipes, and then I'm going to go into part 2 on the private channel because we're going to use a lot of different compounds to remineralize the teeth, to be able to wipe out spirochetes in the mouth and different pathogenic bacteria. Okay, that's the reason being why a lot of people, you can tell just by having someone, let me see your gums. And if your gums are receding, if your gums are red on the outside, you know something's wrong. What's wrong is the problem. So we're going to go over even what kind of toothbrush I use because there's a lot of different booby traps on trying to take care of your mouth. Remember, this is a portal into your body. So there's different creatures we're going to also talk about. There's another, you want one? You want one of these cookies? There's also another, there you go, it's one of his organic cookies. There's also a companion video I want you to watch because one of the reasons why we're going to show you a medicinal toothpaste and mouthwash is to get rid of a lot of these different creatures called spirochetes. And Jess, go ahead and show, let's show a little video right now while I'm talking of spirochetes in the mouth of a sample just in the gingiva. And remember, if you've got receding gum lines, if you have different sickness going on in your system, you've most likely got spirochetes in your mouth, and you can easily see them on a microscope, easily. So this is one of the things that if you go to a doctor, if he doesn't take a look at your saliva, okay, and not just the spit, but in between the teeth. So if you've got any type of infection in your mouth, you may be just smoking all the time, okay? And if you're smoking all the time or even having alcohol, you're having a lot of death in the tissues, right? You have an acidic terrain in the mouth, and these things breed these creatures called oral spirochetes. And just to go over just real quick on spirochetes, remember, spirochetes are part of what's called Lyme disease, right? That's the vector, okay? The spirochete. And there's different species of spirochetes, but let me tell you, remember, back in the days of syphilis, remember, spirochete. I got a lot of information on these 50 pages to show you that spirochetes are found in people with Alzheimer's disease, massive amounts. Okay, a lot of different degenerative disease. These are carnivorous parasites, and they're super small. And like I said, on part 2, I'll go into this more in the medicinal recipe to get rid of these things. Very easy to get rid of. But they're not just in the mouth. Remember, if they're in your mouth, well, you're swallowing, they're in your body too. Okay, so I have a dark field microscope, a biomedics microscope. It's a good one. It's a clinical microscope. And I do a lot of examination on people, and you see all the spirochetes. 9 out of 10 people have spirochetes between their teeth. And these things live in the first, the gum line, okay, from the tooth inside 1 to 2 millimeters, which is just a little bit, like 1/8 of an inch, right? That's where these things live. They live right in, not in the mouth. I mean, they'll swim in the mouth and stuff, but they pretty much live in the gum line. So a lot of times when you brush your teeth, you're not getting rid of these things. They just reinfest. You got bad breath. Remember, you got a lot of things going on because your terrain's acidic. And you can have thousands of these little creatures in your mouth. So when you're kissing another person, guys, you want them to be able to go ahead and do the protocols. Why? Because once you go ahead and see the spirochetes, and they're in like about, I'd say, well, what would be nice? 8 out of 10 people, you have them. And not only in your mouth, but when we take a drop of your blood, put it on there too, and look at the interstitial fluids, you can go ahead and see that there's spirochetes in there too. The companion video I want you to see is called Disease-Causing Parasitic Spirochetes of the Mouth and Body. And again, this is a companion video to go along with, so I'm not going to go ahead and do any of the medicinal stuff on any social media because it's got too many different compounds. And we're going to be using all different types of compounds because we're going to make our own toothpaste. We're going to make a couple of variable different ways, and I'm going to show you different protocols that you can do along with that. And the mouthwash, of course, like I said, the reason why you're going to switch over your mouthwash, not only is it $5-6 for a little container of a bunch of artificial dyes in there, like I said, it's got saccharin in there. They've got all different chemicals, alcohols, I mean, like I said, antibiotics, everything in there. That's, why would you use that? Is because you just don't know. And there's lots of information. Like I said, I put inside here, I got lots of links in here, so you could go ahead and say, geez, I'm ditching my mouthwash, and I'm going to ditch my toothpaste, even the good ones. Okay, even the good toothpaste, like the ones I used to sell. If they have glycerin in them, I wouldn't use them. Remember, glycerin, okay, has been known. Remember, there's little pores in the tooth. Let's show a picture of that. You'll go ahead and see all those little pores in the tooth. Okay, those are how the tooth feeds. Okay, and this is a natural thing, just like the pores on your skin. They need to be open. If they're clogged, well, you're clogged. Okay, do the skin cleaning protocols and everything, but that's another story, right, Hodo? Okay, but if your teeth are clogged with glycerin and it plugs these things up, then you may be starting of a problem. So anyways, there's lots of information that's linked to this, so scrap all that garbage, quit wasting your money on all those things, remember, and make your own. And most of the ingredients, like I said, I'm going to show you a basic ingredient. It's made out of 3 different ingredients, that's it. Okay, and that's your toothpaste. And then your simple mouthwash is made out of also 3 simple ingredients. So those are easy, we'll make them real quick here, okay? And then I'll show you how I use the simple, I call it the simple or general toothpaste. Okay, it's dry toothpaste powder. And it's a general and simple mouthwash. So let's just put it this way too. Let's say you're a smoker. You smoke cannabis, you smoke tobacco, you're chewing tobacco. Remember, you're making an acidic terrain in your mouth, and a lot of things go on when there's an acidic terrain. You're causing a lot of irritation, okay, from the different chemicals, because all cigarettes, unless you're smoking organic and you're not smoking the papers, and a lot of things, let me tell you, look, there's still chemicals in everything. Smoking glyphosate, whatever it is, you got the nastiest breath, your tongue, remember's got all this gunk on it. Okay, let's wash that stuff out. So every time you would smoke, you would take the mouthwash and you just wash out all the acidic material in there that you just put in. Remember, tobacco is very acidic. Okay, so a lot of people get mouth cancer, they get gum receding lines, there's a lot of problems. Remember, these little carnivore parasites, once they're in your mouth, and they're in everybody basically, but they eat inflammation. They can't eat the new tissue, but they do eat inflamed tissue, sort of like a shark picks on the injured fish or the weak fish, right? It doesn't go ahead and chase the good tuna. Well, these spirochetes look like the same thing after investigating parasites for over 40 years, let me tell you. Parasites are the most bizarre stuff, and they are everywhere. If you don't think so, guys, you're thinking wrong. So biggest thing, okay, a lot of people, they'll smile and they put their hand in front of their face is because their teeth look like rabbits. You know, they got super tall teeth, right? Or a horse that's 20 years old. Okay, your gums can be regenerated. You can stop the receding, okay, but you need to learn a couple of different, like I said, things that we're going to go over. So part 2, I'm going to go over a lot of the stuff. Like I said, I'm not here to you know, get all the social media things and all the guidelines, everything, because, you know, whatever I'm showing medicinal wise. So I'm just going to, like I said, on YouTube here, just in a sec, we're going to show you, well, actually just social media in general, going to show you the general mouthwash. And every time you smoke, again, at least instead of just brushing your teeth and getting it out, you can at least use the mouthwash and clean the mouth up, right? Get the acidic waste out, some of the compounds from the tobacco that just, you can't smell. It's like having garlic. You can't smell that nasty breath. But someone else that doesn't smoke or doesn't eat garlic, they smell it off you right away. It's very offensive. It's like, whoa, brother, you stink. So, you know, I can go through, but you need to go through, okay, the description. Like I said, I put a lot of time into this so you could actually realize with your real eyes and hear with your real ears that you need to change it up. Okay, like I said, this is one of the most basic, simple things for you to do is to make sure that the porthole that goes into your body, your mouth, okay, if you've got cuts in the mouth there, if you've got damaged gingiva, if you've gotten cavities and everything else, you can stop all that stuff. That's why we're going to use, let's just go over some of the medicinal ingredients. We're going to use things like boron, okay? We're going to use trisodium phosphate, okay? Phosphates, remember, what feeds the tooth. We're going to use an abrasiveness of either calcium carbonate or fossil shell flour, okay? We're going to use a lubricant, coconut oil. I'm going to show you also how to really go ahead and even detox the mouth, because there's a lot of chemicals in people's mouths, remember, from a lot of different things that just are in the deeper tissue. It's not just on the exterior. They're in the cellular tissue. It goes in deep. Remember, the tissue, like a muscle, if the muscle gets compromised, it starts getting toxic from the outside in. So you can use different types of compounds to suck out a lot of detox. Okay, so anyways, some of the other ingredients that I like to go ahead and have in my kitchen, I call my kitchen of my bathroom, is because this is where all this magic takes place. I like to have a couple of essential oils that I could use. Clove, peppermint, tea tree, spearmint. I also like to use turpentine, which we'll go over in part 2. Okay, miraculous in a lot of different benefits on just basically using it correctly. I like to also use ionic trace minerals loaded full of magnesium, and of course the star of the show is Lugel's iodine. So, okay, let's get started with this one here. Before I start here, let's just see if, well, could it be possible that certain parasites and pathogenic bacteria are eating your mouth from the inside out? Just want you to think about that. Are you thinking about that? You want another pistachio? Whoa, that's good, huh? That's his favorite, is pistachios. What? Oh, no, you got it. He just cracked it. Okay, so this recipe is going to whiten your teeth, so you can throw your toxic whiteners out, bleach whiteners and everything. Guys, you have no idea what you're doing. And remember, there's a lot of commercial things out there. If you can find something that's good, maybe so, you're going to pay up through the nose through it. But you can make, like I said, your own. Even the bare bones basic system I'm going to show you here is way better than any toothpaste you're going to use, is because it's not abrasive and it's not going to go ahead and cause more damage than what you already have. So you can whiten your teeth with this. You're going to freshen your breath. Remember, remove odors from your mouth. Your mouth, okay, so every relationship starts with a smile, and what do people see when you smile? They see your teeth, and sometimes they see how long your teeth are too. And there's no reason to be embarrassed. You can grow these back. I had long teeth too. I didn't know how to go ahead and recede and regrow them, but I regrew mine back. Removing parasites, spirochetes, pathogenic bacteria in the mouth that cause, remember, enamel-eating bacteria. Okay, that's what you cause a cavity, right? Okay. You can get it by pieces of lemon or different types of acidic things in your mouth between the teeth. That'll eat a hole through your tooth too. But what if you get a sore tooth? What do you do? Well, I have different protocols that stops that enamel-eating bacteria from getting, once the enamel's compromised, then things can eat it. Once the gum tissue is compromised, even from you using a medium brush that's very abrasive, it's very hard, the bristles, and you're using an abrasive toothpaste and you're pushing way too hard, you're just causing irritation. You're just like scratching sandpaper on your skin. What do you think that's doing to your mouth? You're opening up the door to make it so whatever things are inside your mouth are now going to be able to eat that tissue that's been damaged. A lot of death tissue, because you're scraping it off. So stop it, right? You can remineralize the tooth enamel. Yes, you can. Okay, because a lot of people have just worn their teeth. I know so many people where their bloody teeth are worn out is because they're sucking on lemons all the time. Remember, you can take a tooth and put it in lemon juice, and in one day that thing just turns to mush. Okay, so you can support the repair of cavities and gums. This whole system here is antibacterial. And remember, you get your bacteria, you can wipe out all the bacteria in your mouth. It just reflourishes because you got to sometimes wipe out the good with the bad. But then again, you don't want to cause any type of mucus irritation like these ethyl alcohols and different types of super dry alcohols. They just mess up your mouth. They dry everything out and cause a lot of irritation. So antibacterial, okay, like I said, you can wipe the mouth clean, you can make it super sanitized. Your bacteria come from the gut and go into the mouth. Remember, cleaning the mouth out cleans the glands out of the mouth, that your body pre-digests its food. When you chew your food correctly, amylase and different types of enzymes come out in your mouth. You call it saliva. And that helps aid pre-digestion. So if you've got problems in the mouth, again, forget about it looking not the greatest when you smile and stuff and you don't feel so good because maybe your teeth are brown. Well, we can whiten them up really easy, especially when you see. But like I said, I can look at someone's teeth and their gums and their mouth in general. I can tell their general health inside their 18 gallons of salt water. I have never personally seen a person that's had receding gum line and some type of dental caries going on that didn't have spirochetes. And anyways, okay, so this is, again, been very well known in the holistic dentistry is that you've got a ton, and there's some dentists out there that do have microscopes, and they will go ahead and do a saliva sample on everybody. They're not doing the blood and stuff, but that's fine. Let's just look and see what's in the mouth. Dental caries causes a lot of disease and opens the doors up to a lot of disease, and if you get rid of these little carnivorous parasites, then, well, nothing's going to go ahead and eat of you alive, because that's what it's doing. It's eating you alive, right? It's eating your tissue. Prevents cavities by sanitizing, strengthening, remineralizing tooth enamel, removing pathogenic bacteria, parasites, decreasing acidic waste, and increasing the pH of the mouth. Increasing the pH of the mouth. All the things I'm going to show you, if you do it correctly, it's not abrasive. You're not going to wear out your enamel, because we're going to use coconut oil as the lubricant base. Even if you've got a crappy toothpaste and you can't get any further in the video than this, if you've got crappy toothpaste, then you want to use maybe like a 1/4 teaspoon of coconut oil with that crappy toothpaste. And that'll make that toothpaste a lot better, just because it's not going to make it so abrasive. And make sure that you get a soft toothbrush, natural toothbrush. So, anyways, gum disease is a lot of people that I see have it, a lot. And I'm not even talking older people. It's a given most of you have it, especially if you smoke a lot of different commercial brand cigarettes. Even people smoke a lot of cannabis. People that eat a lot of bloody sugar. Just people in general. If you've got bad breath and it's coming from your mouth, you know you got a house of creatures in there, okay, that are causing that stench. So we need to alkalize the mouth. We need to learn how to use a tongue scraper. Like I said, we'll go over all this in part 2, most of it. Okay, I think we're good, but read the description, just so you can go ahead and catch what I put together here, is because there's a lot of different things that people have no idea about. Some people know about the fluoride. Okay, remember, this is sodium fluoride. This isn't calcium fluoride. This is sodium fluoride. This is put into a lot of different types of mouthwashes and things like, and toothpaste, is because it's supposed to go ahead and, well, maybe not give you dental, help you with not getting cavities, dental caries, right? How about all of this stuff helps you not get dental caries, and I don't have to use sodium fluoride, which if you look it up, you'll find out. And I put a lot of links in here. Fluoride, the bizarre history. 6 ingredients in toothpaste to avoid. Okay, toothpaste overdose article from Mount Sinai Hospital. Here, have some toothpaste, eat some. Okay, and documentary, fluoride, poison on tap. These are all things, remember, just for you to get into your information field and your informed field. Okay, this is your information field, and you can make better decisions when you find out, say, and once you figure all this out, okay, that's the mouth department. Then move on to another Earther Academy protocol and different workshop. Okay, so because there's lots to learn in all these pieces, and take what you can, that makes sense in your little world, and put it in. Upgrade, enhance, and optimize. So I'm just going to read this one thing on remineralization because, like I said, a lot of people, just so you can understand, fun fact on remineralization. Remineralization of the teeth is possible and is real. If mineralization is your goal, stay away from toothpaste that contains glycerin. Remember, this is in the description. There's a lot of good information here. Take the time and go read the label on your tube. You'll be surprised how many mouthwash and toothpaste have glycerin added as an ingredient. Glycerin gives a smooth texture and emulsifies the paste. Unfortunately, it also inhibits the remineralization process. So keep it out of your mouth. Okay, there's like 16,000 studies on this. So, and this is just a question to ask yourself and we'll get started. Are you unknowingly poisoning yourself with your mouthwash, toothpaste, to get that chemicalized, minty, fresh breath? Remember, even the flavors that are used in these things, remember, all flavors are estrogenic, chemical flavors, all of them. So when you've got your chemical detergent that you're using to wash your clothes and it's got some type of pine smell or whatever smell it's got, whatever it is, those are chemicals. They're all estrogenic, just to let you know. Keep estrogen out of your system. Just real quick, I'm just going to go over, just read again the description, but these are 14 toxins commonly found in mouthwash. This is why we're going to do these things, is because, guys, I don't like to see people get tricked. And if you want to use these things and keep on using them, well, then all power to you guys. Give it an experiment. See what it does to you. That's all you can do. Here are 14 common toxins commonly found in mouthwashes and are mostly unknown to the general public as toxic or questionable. There are many more toxins than the ones I am showing you, but I just went ahead and put these down. Ethanol isopropyl alcohol dries out the mucosa and saliva, causing irritation, inflammation of the gums, and in short time, bad breath once again. Almost all mouthwashes uses a toxic type of alcohol. Okay, they're not using vodka, and the last thing you want to do anyways, you don't need to use those things. Remember, you're burning the bacteria in there, but you're also burning your mucosa. Okay, your very sensitive cells in there. And then you're also taking off the slime coat inside your mouth too, and causing just damage because you're drying the crap out of it with that type of alcohol. Artificial dyes. Not only these can stain your teeth, okay, but they are linked to tumor development and attention disorders. Commonly used mouthwash uses dyes, FD, green, okay. Chlorhexidine, okay, definitely kills bacteria in your mouth. Again, why are you going to use these types of chemicals, okay? Hexatidine, okay. Again, antibacterial, antifungal chemical. Methyl salicylates, benzalkonium chloride. Okay, a mouthwash disinfects an ingredient, can irritate the skin mucous membranes, causing side effects, difficulty breathing, chest tightness, and swelling of the lips, tongue, and mouth. Anyways, keep on reading them. Triclosan, okay, that's an antibiotic. Fluoride, as we all know about. Okay, sodium lauryl sulfate. Okay, you need to read about that. Saccharin, propylene glycol. Jeez, that's antifreeze for your car. Okay, so let's get started here. First thing we're going to do is just show you the ingredients of the simple general toothpaste recipe using only 3 ingredients. The first ingredient I'm going to use is baking soda, and that's why you'll see a lot of more expensive toothpaste use what? Baking soda. So just use it yourself. It's so simple. And you don't have to do a thing with it. Here's baking soda. I bought this at Costco, this big thing of baking soda right here, and I use this in my laundry. I use this in a lot of different things. Cleaning agents. I put this in my hot tub. Watch our video on hot tubs, how to be able to make your hot tub so you don't have to use chlorine or bromine, and make it so it's mineralized. So when you go in it, your body absorbs the minerals. So I bought this for, I think it was like $7 for 10 pounds. Okay, ridiculous. It doesn't have aluminum in it, but you can if you're, I have done research on it. There's no aluminum, it's just 100% baking soda. So baking soda is what we're going to use. And the second thing is, because we're just going to use dry powder, and you can just put this in your mouth, right, with a toothbrush. Stuff falls all over the place, whatever it is, but it's too abrasive still, okay? It's not going to break down. So what we use is I use coconut oil. Coconut oil is the lubricant, and of course, you're going to get a real toothbrush. Try not to use synthetic ones if you can. I gave you a bunch of links in the description to be able to get natural, all natural, coconut fibers, all different types of fibers, but you want to stay away from anything other than a soft brush with natural fibers. Just way better, because a lot of these plastics in there, remember, you're just rubbing bisphenol A in your mouth. You're rubbing all these different types of endocrine disruptors. What are you doing? Especially with the stuff that we're using here, that plastic toothbrush is not good because some of this stuff breaks up that stuff. So anyways, use a real toothpaste or a toothbrush. Okay, so this is, I'll show you how to use this, but these are the ingredients, simple ingredients, and this will clean the odors out of your mouth. This is going to go ahead, and this is like a poison for those little spirochetes, okay? They don't like it, especially when I show you how to brush. Remember, you're going to take your brush, and you're not just brushing your teeth, you're brushing your gums, and you're not really just brushing the tooth itself, but you're trying to get in between the crack of the bone where the tooth enamel is and the gum. Remember, these spirochetes and these different things, they live. This is where most people get their cavities. This is where all these creatures live. Okay, because otherwise it just gets swallowed into the mouth. They get eaten by food and everything else. They got to hide inside those crevices. If not, they get washed out. So they hide between 1 and 2 millimeters, like I said, which is about 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so we'll put that aside. So let's make now the mouthwash, because you use these two things together. So it's a little different than just buying a tube of toothpaste. I know it's a little more convenient, but this works way better. And plus, you can make the recipe any way you want to, and it costs bloody nothing to make. Okay, so how I make the simple general mouthwash, again, is only with 3 ingredients. I got 30 ounces. I'm using distilled water. You can use RO water or just use bottled water, but use clean water. Don't use tap water. Remember, the tap water's got a lot of garbage in it. You tell them, Hodo. Here, you want one more cookie? Whoa, man, you're a cookie monster today. So I like using a 30-ounce mason jar. The mason jars are great. I like the big mouth ones, okay? The ones with the big lids. And I get the bisphenol A free tops, but remember, there's still plastic and stuff like this, so you know, maybe they're better, maybe they're not. This is bisphenol instead of A, maybe this is bisphenol B, who knows? Okay, but I don't like using anything that is metal at all. So this is on your counter, sits in your bathroom, right? You can put some of this material in a spray, bring it with you, or just a little tiny container to bring it to work, whatever it is, if you're smoking. Okay, so let's make this thing. So all we're going to do is 30 ounces of water. I use a mason jar, never store in plastic. And then I'm going to use 1 heaping, okay, remember, there's your mouthwash. 1 heaping tablespoon or teaspoon. I like to use about this much right here in 30 ounces. Just dump that in, okay? Mix it up. And then I'm going to use Lugel's iodine, because this really sanitizes the mouth, and this really kicks a lot of the sanitization, getting rid of a lot of the biofilm from certain microbes, and it penetrates deep into the tissue, which helps also with a little regeneration. And plus, you get a little bit of your iodine for the day. Okay, because a lot of people, they're lacking iodine. They just are. And your thyroid does run on iodine. You can watch our videos on that, thyroid protocols. Okay, so I'm using, you know, and you should always have some of these things, like I always tell you, in your kitchen. And I'm talking your bathroom kitchen because it's my laboratory, right? So I'm using 24% Lugol's iodine. I don't think Amazon sells any more than 5%, but if you have 2% or 5%, you just put more drops in. So let's say you have 2% Lugol's iodine, then I'd put about 6 drops in there. So if you've got 5%, put 4 or 5 drops, right? So I got 24%, so I'm just going to put, whoops, I was supposed to put only 2 drops or 3 drops, but if you put more, it doesn't matter. And if you do get it on your fingers, it'll stain for a little bit, and 20 minutes later, it disappears. Why? Because it went inside you. So this iodine, when you have it in your mouth, this stuff is going to go into the gum tissue. It's going to help wipe out, because a lot of parasites, remember, they're also in the gum tissue. These are microparasites, super, 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 super small. And if they can invade the tissue that's damaged, that's where they live. They live in that tissue too. So there you go. You just mix that dude up, and that's your mouthwash. Okay. If you want more of a fresh, mintier taste, then you can put a drop after you get done with your mouthwash. Keep it in for 30 seconds, 45 seconds, swishing back and forth. Before, you know, if you don't have a chance to be able to, let's say, brush your teeth, mouthwash is good. Just bring some floss with you. You could use one piece of floss, about this long. You could use it 30, 40, 50 times. Put it inside your, to sanitize it after you get done flossing or whatever. You can wash it under the sink or whatever. Just put it in here and just string it out. And then put it on your faucet. So I like to use the Smart Floss. Doesn't have bisphenol A in it because sometimes a lot of the flosses, they have a synthetic, it's not beeswax, it's petroleum-based paraben. So I don't like to put that in my mouth in between all my gums because that's causing sometimes some problems with that too. So floss first for 2 seconds, put this in your mouth, 30 seconds, swishing it around. Okay, you're not brushing your teeth, you're on the run. And then when you're done, if you have a tongue scraper, or if not, grab a little spoon. You can use it like a regular spoon like this, right? And you can use that as a tongue scraper too. But I like to use a copper tongue scraper. So we'll go over this in a second here, but just to give you, so that's the mouthwash just on the side. So what I do is, remember, we have a cleanser here. This is going to whiten your teeth. It's going to take stains out of your teeth. It's going to wipe out a lot of simple bacteria in here. Why? Because they can't stand the salt. Okay. It's got a little bit of abrasiveness to it. And what I do is, it's a brand new toothbrush, so I sort of like to wipe them off anyways. So I'm going to take a little bit of coconut oil. So you can see I got just regular extra virgin coconut oil here. And let me get my bowl. So I have coconut oil on there, as you can see. And so the coconut oil, I'm going to dip it in to the baking soda. So let me just show you here. I'm dipping it into the baking soda like this. Okay, so I got a nice scoop there. And before I put this in my mouth, I put a little bit of this mouthwash in. Remember, this mouthwash has sodium bicarbonate also in it, but it also has the iodine. And so this gives me a little bit of wetness for everything to dissolve a little bit. And you don't want too much in there. Make sure I'm on here. So the first thing I do is I just push it all around, right? And I want to use now my toothbrush at 45 degrees, right underneath all the gum lines. And not pushing hard. Let me just talk for a second. You want to, when you're almost finished, you want to get all the way in the back of the molars, all 4 of them. Just go ahead and remember, you're trying to get in between the tooth and the gum line. and you're just pushing the sodium bicarbonate up there. My mouth tastes a little coconutty right now. The sodium bicarbonate, if you used it by itself, it doesn't taste really good, but with the coconut, it doesn't taste bad at all. You want to brush not only, remember, your teeth, but you're going to brush your gums. And you brush your gums very, very soft. The roof of your mouth, your tongue, and then what I'll do is I'll take a little more of my mouthwash. And I'll usually switch that for 15, 30 seconds or so while I'm doing something else. And then when I'm finished, then I'll go ahead and take my tongue scraper and I gently go as far as I can back. And I have a copper tongue scraper. I like them way better than the stainless steel one. And you want to get a pretty decent one because a lot of the tongue scrapers are too sharp. And if you use it too hard on your tongue, you start scraping your tongue up. So you don't want to be too aggressive on your tongue. And you use a tongue scraper. I use it, you know, anytime before you eat, you should clean your mouth out so you can taste your food. You know exactly how much salt it's got on it now. Remember, your tongue is your taste. And so I'm going to clean my tongue now. And you can see a bunch of stuff came off of that. And I'll usually make 2 or 3 rounds. And I'll take a little bit more mouthwash again if I want. That's it. Boom. So that's the general toothpaste. Simple. Like I said, the medicinal one, we're going to use different compounds. We're going to use, depending on what's wrong with your teeth. Remember, some people have a lot of calcium deposits on their teeth, a lot of different. Let me just show you this tool up close right here. Okay, you can see that tool that I use has a sharp little corner to it right here. It's got diamond shape to it and it's got a wedge. And a lot of times too is like 2-3 times a week, I'll take an instrument like this, it's metal, and I'll go in between the 2 teeth, right on the guideline of each teeth where they both meet, and just scrape the insides very lightly. Of course, you can see in the mirror, you can see better. And just go to each tooth and go in between each tooth and make sure there's nothing that comes off. And a lot of things that you'll see that'll come off sometimes, you'll see like almost like little pieces of calcium come off. Okay, and this is plaque. Okay, white stuff, and if you pull it off and you put it in between your fingers and you smell it, that stuff stinks. And so this is using the medicinal mouthwash is going to get rid of all that stuff, and hopefully your terrain in your mouth will become much better. So again, if you're smoking, guys, the mouthwash is one of the best things you can do. Just make one at work. It's simple to make. Look, tablespoon of sodium bicarbonate, put 6-8 drops of 2 to 5% Lugal's iodine in there, and if you put 10 drops in, that's fine too. Okay. But at least put in 4 drops of the 2%, mix it up, and there's your simple mouthwash. Like I said, on part 2, I'm going to go ahead and show you a medicinal mouthwash and a medicinal toothpaste, because this is for feeding the teeth. This is to really wipe down anything that has been living in the gum tissue, okay, in the cell tissue there, just to clean house. So, okay, we'll start part 2 now, but this is pretty basic. And, you know, there's no reason for you to use your toxic mouthwash anymore. My mouth, I didn't even use, I mean, if I want to use a drop of peppermint, let's say, because I got peppermint breath, okay, or maybe I want it more sanitizing, okay, this is clove, and I only use steam distilled clove. Steam distilled peppermint. You try to get things that are steam distilled, because some of these essential oils are toxic, and they use ethers, okay, to take them out. And I'll just not even put a drop in my mouth. I'm just going to lick the top. That's it. Whoo! Woohoo! That's strong. Super strong. Want another peanut? No, just in case. So I have tea tree oil here. Remember, these are super good to be able to use afterwards. And then I just keep this in my mouth and I just swallow it. Swish it around though. So I don't add any essential oils to my mouthwash is because the stuff that's in here is going to break down the essential oils and they float on the top. I'll just put in not even half a drop later on and it just makes my whole, and it's mouth fresh, but it keeps the peppermint in my mouth instead of me washing it out. So let's start part 2. But if, like I said, the coconut oil, the reason why we're using that is to be able to add lubricity. Lubricity is what gives slickness, okay, to the compounds that we're using. So even, like I said, if you're using crappy toothpaste right now because whatever it is, you can go to the store for a dollar at the dollar store and just go ahead and make sure, read the ingredients, 100% baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda, right? And make yourself your little dry toothpaste powder. And the biggest thing is make sure you have a soft bristle. Okay, I think we're good. What do you think, Hodo? You've been good. Yeah, you want maybe a pistachio? No? Okay, give me a kiss then. We're gonna go bye. Give me a kiss. He gives me a kiss. Okay, guys, we'll see you on part 2. Aloha. Get rid of your toxic mouthwash and toothpaste. Okay? That's all I can tell you. Okay. Aloha.